Raghunath, are you ready for this?
What?
The wisdom of the sages trainings that are going on.
Where?
At the Eco Village, the Govardhan Eco Village in India.
Why?
To totally transform your life spiritually.
Who?
You, me, Raghunath Swami's going to be there. Other great teachers are going to be there. Lots of cool people.
How?
You go to wisdomofthesages.com/events. You find all the information there.
Haribo.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Super Soul Farm. This is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kostudas. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to Thursday's official study of the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is where we study the...
Study? You make it sound like we're studying a lot here.
We study.
Is
This
it?
is study for me. Maybe you have some other type of
This wasn't
study where your
exactly
head's
study.
in a book. This is study for
We're
me.
discussing here.
We're discussing and studying it.
Okay. All right.
A lot of people take notes in this, Kostuba.
Oh, no, that's true. That's true.
We're not taking this lightly.
All right.
It's our study. Mara, are you studying this or are you just reading it?
I'm studying it.
Thank you.
I take notes.
She takes notes too. Well, there we go.
Okay. Study it is.
Study
It's not
it
just
is.
a little dry, that's all. You know, it's more like a show than a study to me.
I think you're just more official when you study.
All right.
But welcome everybody. And we're here live with almost about 100 Zoomers, 97 Zoomers today. If you want to join us live on Zoom, you can. It's fun. We all sort of know each other. We write each other's secret messages on the board. We see each other's face or at least a photo. You get that code by writing Mara at wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com. And then she sends you the secret codes, not allowed to share them with anybody. Got that? Thank you. All right. Any other announcements, Kostuba?
No, you know, just always a reminder that we're heading into September 10th is that Bhadra Purnima, where it is extremely auspicious to give the gift of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And, you know, if, you know, we're going to, actually this Sunday, we're bringing Vaisheshika Prabhu on for a full-on interview, right?
Ooh.
Yeah, and we can talk about that a little bit more then. But, yeah, if you would like to make that, you know, if you'd like to do that, to donate a set of Bhagavatam, you call Malini. Do you have that number handy, Mara?
Yeah, I'll put it up on the
But
board.
for people that aren't here with us.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. And of course, in October, we have our Wisdom of the Sages retreat, our final retreat. We have our Bhakti Recovery retreat. All these are up on our website, wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com. And of course, and you know what?
Yeah.
Our retreat is filling up for India. We have our Wisdom of the
Starting to fill up.
Sages wisdom study. We call it the Light on Wisdom retreat.
Mm.
It's for 2 weeks in India and culminating with the Flower Festival. I'm already going to be there with our 300 hour and our Kirtan Academy. And so if you're interested in any of those things, wisdomofthesages.com and click on events. And yeah, space is extremely limited for that one. It's just going to be me and Kostuba, room for one person.
Who will it be?
Who will it be? Just me and Kostuba in a room, just yelling at you. Chant this sloka, learn this. It's going to be a really fun retreat.
For that autumn retreat, I'm looking forward to, and you know, and I'm going to release their video about that today. I think I'm going to try to
The
do
fall
that.
foliage retreat?
Yeah,
The fall foliage?
Mm-hmm.
And right
Yeah.
before that is the Bhakti Recovery Group retreat.
And
as
before that is the Bhakti Recovery. So
Yeah,
so
we're
much
going to have
fun.
bonfires, people. We're going to have bonfires.
Okay.
Welcoming in
yes.
the fall foliage.
You got that number, Mary?
I do. It's +1 669 289 5563.
Okay. There
You ever notice how +1 is a thing now? It's like, it was never a
Because of-
thing. Most people
Here
didn't
we go.
travel internationally. And now it's like everybody's, I'm +35, you know, the old days, you just had to learn them. I'm
Right.
calling Italy, +39.
Thank you for sharing that insight, Ragnar. That was an important part of our
You
study.
remember when you have
today.
to pay for long distance phone calls? Oh, that was $17 for that 2-minute call.
That way, I do remember that. Hey, Mary, are you
Yes.
coming through the right microphone today?
Oh, I'll check.
All right, give me that check. All right, Raghunath,
All
you
right,
ready?
we're winding up Thomas Merton week, man.
Well, we still got tomorrow.
Oh yeah. So
Why
if you're
not
not
do that?
familiar with our nuggets, nuggets are like, we find some clever spiritualist out there, a great thinker, and we write a little nugget. It sort of has to do with the Vedic concept of reality, and a lot of stuff in the New Testament really does, especially like these mystic monks like Thomas Merton.
Yeah,
And
he's great.
I maybe I knew this, but I forgot. Thomas Merton wrote an introduction for Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita.
He did. The 1968 edition, it had Allen Ginsberg. It had Thomas Merton. It had someone else, Denise. Let me 1 second. I'll pull it up.
So cool that the devotees back then just reached out and found these people and like, we want you to write an introduction for the Gita.
Denise Levertov. Do you know who Denise Levertov is?
Google her, Mara.
Google that, Denise Levertov. But yeah, Allen Ginsberg, Denise Levertov, and Thomas Merton. He wrote a really nice. Maybe tomorrow.
When do you read that?
It's long.
Oh, really?
But maybe tomorrow. Maybe we could just read it tomorrow if we want. There's a lot of great stuff in it. Particularly, there's one quote that we'll definitely do tomorrow if we don't do the whole thing tomorrow. Maybe we just do that tomorrow. It'd be a cool thing to do. But we could read a little bit from it today. Why don't you go ahead and read the nugget that we have, which is not from his Bhagavad Gita introduction.
Okay. Thomas Merton nugget.
Yeah.
To say that I am made in the image of God is to say that love is the reason for my existence, for God is love.
I wonder if that, like, I don't have the context in which he shared that. There's more to this quote too, by the way, right?
Because we always say we're made in the image of God. To say that I'm made in the image of God is to say that love is the reason for my existence.
And maybe
God is love.
This is just a total speculation on my point. But perhaps he's saying that in contrast to other ways to interpret what it means to say that I'm made in the image of God, right? In other words, if I might say, well, I'm made in the image of God, therefore I have the right to, eat animals, or I have the, what I'm saying? Like I have the right to rule or something like that. Maybe that term, maybe
have
that
dominion.
Phrase, to have dominion. Yeah, maybe that phrase has been misinterpreted in his opinion or something like that. So he's saying, again, I don't know if it's in that context,
Yeah, because
it was used.
It was used, I think, for a lot of this. We're made in the image of God, meaning God is human-like, and therefore we got the power.
We got the power, yeah.
Over, right? I get that.
So he's saying, no, it means something else. Here's what it means. To say that I'm made in the image of God is to say that love is the reason for my existence, for God is love.
For God is love. And love is my true identity. Hi, I'm love. And I'm an alcoholic. Love is my true identity. Selflessness is my true self. Love is my true character. Love is my name.
It's starting to sound a little bit like a who's that musician?
Squirrel me not, Kastuba. Squirrel me not.
No. Who's that guy? He's got the big fro, and he sings like "Love is my."
Sai Baba?
No. He's like a rock guy.
Oh yeah. Lenny Kravitz.
Lenny Kravitz. It's starting to sound like Lenny Kravitz.
Love is my name.
Well,
it's amazing how in a completely different tradition. Maybe it's not amazing, but I was about to say if he was like Thomas Merton, definitely dabbled in Eastern thought, so I can understand how
dabbled. He was deep into it, yeah.
Deep into dabbling.
A deep dabble.
And I can he was a deep dabbler, of course. Do be a deep dabbler. And so therefore, I feel like maybe it is understandable how he comes to these conclusions, because this is all over Vedic teachings. God isn't ferocious. God isn't the punisher. God isn't the sadistic Lord. God is a charming, adorable, beautiful child who doesn't even do he's not even responsible for your karma or your bad karma. That's all you. That's all you getting the results of silly choices.
Well, I mean, I'm sure the loving aspect of God is not absent from Christian theology.
It's not. But sometimes people practicing Christian theology don't come to this conclusion that I am love, that God is love, that I think I think he's on par with the statements of the great
Agreed.
saints of the Eastern traditions.
Agreed. And especially, you know, from the Bhakti tradition, it seems like from this quote where he's saying again, he's going at selflessness, right? Like he's saying this is where the key lies. This is like we say that our dharma, like great saints like Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote at great length about how the dharma, the eternal dharma of the soul is loving service, right? Loving service to God and through God to every living entity. Here he says selflessness, right? So, in other words, I'm concerned with the other before I'm concerned with myself. That's actually how we're designed. To me, this is the big. I think we got to come up with a name for this, Raghunath, like something like the counterintuitive key, you know, to the universe is this idea, you know, right? Because the intuitive thing is, well, when everything's centered around me, when my body and senses and mind are being served, I'm going to be happy. No, it's the absolute opposite of that.
It's called the big flip-flop.
It's the okay, that's a good name for it, the big flip-flop.
Big flip-flop.
Yeah, okay.
The big flip-flop is you think if I'm the center and everybody's serving me, I should be at the pinnacle of my joy. And it's just not true. Matter of fact, it's most likely the opposite of that.
Right.
Big flip-flop is like, why do people even admire me when I know I'm just the same old schmuck I've always been. Right. It's not natural. You know, I've been really diving into this theory, like we are fully meant to give 100%. Like people in relationships, they try to. You want to hear my theory here? Yeah. People in relationships.
Is there a name for this theory?
Like huh?
Is there a name for this theory?
It's Raghunath's postulate number 31.
Okay.
Postulate number 31. Did you just go like this, Mary? Mary just like went like, oh God.
No, that was an appreciation. She's listen to me, hear it. Maybe it'll work. Maybe you'll like it. Maybe it'll resonate with you. 31. Let's go. 31. 31 is people want their love with God within a relationship, and it's just not going to happen. The small L love is not going to. You're not going to have unconditional love with a human being. They can't hold as much love as you're born to give. You're born to give so much more love than a human can even contain, and you shouldn't expect some type of incredible reciprocal love from them. It's just not going to happen. People are naturally selfish. Even the most loving thing you got, like a mother's love for like the child. Yeah. It's the closest thing you got to pure love of God, but it's still not that. So if we're looking for that God love within a person, we're always going to be let down. It doesn't mean we can't have great loving relationships, but it's always going to be tinged with a little bit of I want this, I want this. Yeah. Save the big L for Lord Krishna. For the big G. For the big G. Okay. Yo, G. What do you think about the Postulate 31? It works for me, Raghunath. I just think you're left with a lot of expectations that you're gonna put on project onto a person. It leads to it'll lead to trouble down the road, like you're saying, false expectations. Rather than looking at each other for fulfilling, you hold hands and you point yourself towards that center, and you start walking towards it together. Right? Okay, I like that. Hold hands. Hold hands. I wanted to make it a little warm sounding, right? Like you hold hands, and then you start moving in the same direction towards that center, which can fulfill you both. Yeah. And you know what? You appreciate each other's help along the way, and that's genuine, and that's real, and that's satisfying. And to me, that's real romance. Yeah. To me, that's real romance. That's real romance. Number 31. Real romance. Real romance. Yes, I'm going to call that real romance. And what we were saying, and the big flip flop. I like that one too, Mary. You like that? Write that down. Here's some more on the big flip flop. Okay, this is Thomas Merton, and this is from his introduction to Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is, 1968. Oh, you're going there. Edition. I thought we were saving this. Not the whole thing, but just this part I wanted to read because it relates to the quote. Okay. Because it relates to what we're just reading. Okay. Man. Here goes. He says, realization of the supreme quote unquote player. Who's quote unquote I think player didn't mean that what it means now. No, it's a different player. He's talking about Leela, play. Yeah. Player. So player really, a player back then means like he's playing like an actor. Yeah, he's playing. Well, he's just player, here like Shakespeare, a player. We were all players of this. Yeah, or even I think he means more like a child plays, because here
Oh,
he's
all
going to
right,
say
okay.
Leela. He's going to say Leela, right? So in other words,
Okay,
he's meaning
gotcha.
God has divine play, wherein he has loving sporting adventures with
Sporting.
his beloveds. Realization of the supreme player, whose play, Leela, is manifested in the million-formed, inexhaustible richness of beings and events, is what gives us the key to the meaning of life.
I love it. The key to the meaning of life. Boom.
Once we live in awareness of the cosmic dance and move in time with the dancer, Raghunath. Oh man, I gave you permission and you didn't even use it.
Oh, the Cosmic Dance.
Hold me closer.
Elton John.
Hold me closer.
Sing it. I don't
Cosmic
know that
dancer.
one really.
Hold me closer.
Hold me closer, Cosmic Dancer.
There you go.
The Rocket Man.
No, it's a different one. That's a different one. Okay, so once we live in awareness of the cosmic dance, did Raghunath just disappear on us? What happened? Where'd he go?
I don't know.
We lost him. He
We lost
disappeared.
him.
I'm sure he'll be back.
It's quite the exit, though.
It really was. Okay, let me know when he's back. So once we live in awareness of I'll start all over again. Realization of the supreme player, whose play, or Leela, is manifested in the million-formed, inexhaustible richness of beings and events, is what gives us the key to the meaning of life. Once we live in awareness of the cosmic dance and move in time with the dancer, our life attains its true dimension. It is at once, this is really interesting. You ready, Mara?
Yes.
It is at once more serious and less serious than the life of one who does not sense this inner cosmic dynamism. It is once more serious and less serious. We need to talk. We need to get Raghunath back on. We got to discuss this with him too.
Yeah.
But make sure we come back to that, okay? To live without this illuminated consciousness is to live as a beast of burden, carrying one's life with tragic seriousness as a huge, incomprehensible weight. The weight of the burden is the seriousness with which one takes one's own individual separate self. Separate, and this is a word that we're using a lot in some of the past couple shows, where one thinks of themselves as separate from the whole. That's when you fall into the illusion. So to live with the true consciousness of life centered in another, and that another has a capital A, is to lose one's self-important seriousness, and thus to live life as play in union with the cosmic player. It is he alone that one takes seriously. But to take him seriously is to find joy and spontaneity in everything, for everything is a gift and grace. In other words, to live selfishly is to bear life as an intolerable burden. To live selflessly is to live in joy, realizing by experience that life itself is love and gift. To be a lover and a giver is to be a channel through which the supreme giver manifests his love in the world. This is his introduction to Bhagavad Gita. This is what he derives out of Bhagavad Gita, right? That, in other words, that there is a center to the universe, that there is a root to all existence, and that when you and it's our lack of realization of that, it's our ignorance of that becomes a huge burden. And life, and he's saying that life becomes serious, like it becomes serious in that. I guess he's meaning you're taking something too seriously. That we got to know when to be light and when to be serious, and we get caught up in all these petty little things. We take them serious because we're not in touch with that cosmic dance. We have no awareness of the cosmic, divine play. What is that play? It's an exchange of love, right? And one realizes it with that supreme player, and then through that one realizes it with all the other players that are involved in this.
That's beautiful. I think we have
Beautiful,
Raghu
right?
back.
Do we have Raghu back?
Greetings.
Hey, there you go. What happened,
Greetings.
Raghu?
My daughter used my computer last night and drained it of its juice.
Oh, battery. There's a
But-
battery issue.
If we got to wait 5 minutes before I get my mic back on, I only have my weak microphone now.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Sorry.
Why does it affect your microphone? I don't
Long
understand.
story. The
All right, we
plug.
won't get into it. We won't get into it. Did you hear what I was reading, Raghu?
No, everything was cut out. Cosmic Dancer.
Okay, I'm gonna hit some key points because I wanted to discuss these
Okay,
with
bullet
you.
point that for us, Kastuba.
Well, first he started talking about there's a supreme player whose play or Leela is manifested like unlimitedly, like it's there for every living being. Okay. And he's saying that once we live in awareness of the cosmic dance and move in time with the dancer, it's only then that our life attains what he calls its true dimension. And I think that's an interesting.
Say this.
Do you, Raghunath?
Yes.
Do you?
I do.
Okay.
Hey, when did he die, Thomas Merton? Did he
in the
die?
70s. Yeah, he died in the 70s. I'm pretty sure it was in the 70s.
Yeah.
He got electrocuted in Nepal.
Ooh, thanks for helping me sell my Nepal trip.
I know it's dangerous.
Just lost 2 people from that.
Well, so he says that's when he says that's when our life attains its true dimension, which I think could be understood in a couple ways. One is kind of like is our real dimension, is what we're meant to be living, but also true as like in contrast to like illusory, right?
Yeah.
It's only then that we're not living an illusion. When we're in connection with God, when we feel that playful divine connection, we're actually living truth. It's actually what we're designed to do. He says it is at once, and this is really interesting, he says that it is once more serious and less serious than the life of one who does not sense this inner cosmic dynamism, right? It's more serious in the fact that it's real, it's true, it's substantial. And it's less serious in that it's like you're not taking all these petty, illusory, temporary things as being so important, right? This is the key to like the sadhu, to the saint, to the transcendentalist.
He was only 53 when he died.
Oh.
It drives me crazy when I find all these people that are dead before younger than me. Doesn't that sort of like irk you a little? Like, oh, I get it. I should be dead. I could be dead.
Yeah, let's try to focus on what I'm reading here, and then off the trivial points. I was sharing. He was sharing something, Raghunath. I was interested.
The way you're reading this, I'm realizing like he must have read the Bhagavatam. You know?
No. Actually, I think I get the impression he didn't read the Bhagavatam. He mentions
would have like answered all of his questions.
Well, he mentions this triad, which is commonly spoken about in Vedantic circles of the Vedas, the Upanishads. Really, when you say the Vedanta Sutra, the Upanishads, and he mentions Vedas, Upanishads, and Gita, and he sees that progression. He clearly identifies that progression. The Vedics give you the ritual and the sacrifice, and then the metaphysical teachings come in the Upanishads. And then he says, but the Bhagavad Gita takes it to where you bring it all alive in your life. And then he says, but it still goes further than that because, and then he starts to get into this kind of stuff, this cosmic dance kind of thing,
Yeah.
But I think it's beautiful what he's sharing. He's saying he's giving this key to life. He says to live with the true consciousness of life centered in another, capital A, another, is to lose one's self-important seriousness and to live life as play in union with the cosmic player. Right? Our problem, Raghunath?
What's my problem? You tell me.
Not
tell
you,
me my problem.
all of us. I think you live your life a lot like this, Raghunath. I think you do make life a cosmic play. But I think our problem is we have an inner cosmic player hater. Right?
Cosmic player hater inside us.
We have a cosmic player hater. We have an aversion to the cosmic player. We don't even recognize. We think he's not a player. We think he is like a judge. And we become the player hater.
Right.
Cosmic player hater.
I like that.
But
how much did you end up reading of this? Did he save us any for tomorrow?
Oh, I read maybe 1/5 of it at most. It's long. Okay. It's relatively long. All right.
Cool.
All right.
All right. That was great.
Thomas Merton.
We're in. All right. Let's dive into the sweet honey nectar pot of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devam saraswatim vyasam tato jayam madirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshva badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya, bhagavati utamashloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated. and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Tamarandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My teachers are opening my eyes with a torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Hey, Kostu, before we get into you say these prayers every day.
Yeah.
And if people, I think we talked about this once before, maybe twice before, but maybe just if these prayers are actually in the Bhagavatam, right? By regular attendance and studies in the Bhagavatam.
Yes.
How could it be talking about the Bhagavatam? If it's in the Bhagavatam.
Because Bhagavatam, think of it as something broader than just like a particular edition of a book.
Right.
Bhagavatam means the glorification of Bhagavan, which is something that's eternal and has always existed, and people have been doing it. And particularly, especially, it means in the form of Krishna's pastimes and Vishnu's pastimes, and the connection of the devotee, the glorification of Krishna or Vishnu and his devotees. That's really what Bhagavatam is. So Bhagavatam is, and it's hard for us, our little pea brains, to get this, but Bhagavatam is an eternal thing going on. The glorification of divinity is an eternal thing, and it's happening right now. We're sort of like living the Bhagavatam right now. We're glorifying divinity, and this is sort of like the next. And it's been captured in time and space in one sense in this book. Yeah, in one particular, but you can't capture that in 18,000 verses even, right? It's beyond. It's unlimited. It's 18,000 verses, and you still can't catch it. Yeah. Okay. It's very interesting. Yeah. Very interesting. But that's a good question. People would ask that question, right? It's a logical question, sure. Logical question. You're talking about the Bhagavatam. I'm reading the Bhagavatam. Okay. Let's read it now. Canto 4, chapter 24, text 62. Hit it. My dear Lord, your universal form consists of all 5 elements: the senses, the mind, and the intelligence, the false ego, which is all it's material, and the Paramatma, your partial expansion. That's the super soul, who is the director of everything. Yogis, other than the devotees, namely the karma yogi and the jnana yogi, worship you by their respective actions in their respective positions. It is stated both in the Vedas and in the Shastras, that are the corollaries of the Vedas, and indeed everywhere, that it is only you who are to be worshipped. That is the expert version of all the Vedas. Yeah, Prabhupada draws our attention to this word kovida at the end, which means like expert. Mm-hmm. In other words, when you really understand it, it becomes clear. You see it, right? That like, again, we said that, sometimes we use this example that like, say you're a child and you grow up in like a wealthy household and you have like servants and the butlers bringing you your meal and this and that. And if you're I don't know, a bit evolved, you respect that and you appreciate it. You thank them, but if you don't realize that there's someone behind that too, right? That like, it's your parents that are paying the butler to care for you and so on. Then you could say you're not kovida in this sense. You're not expert. You don't fully understand what's going on, right? Yeah. And he's saying, so when you take this vastness of the Vedic literature, and again, there is a development there. There is a development from texts meant for people on one level to texts meant for people on another level to texts that are ultimately revealing the whole thing. That's what's being meant here by kovida, that those that are seeing the entire picture, they understand what or who's behind it all. If you want the full meal, if you want the full all access to the salad bar, is that Bhakti tradition? Okay. It's got it all. It's got it all. It's got the mystical aspects. It's got the metaphysical aspects. It's got the spiritual aspects. It's got I'm still attached to this, but I want God. It's got all the aspects. But it's got only one motive. Huh? Right? And but ultimately, but it only has one motive, that pure motive. That the motive for it all is love. Yeah. It's a very, very big reservoir, which you can take whatever you want from. And people, according to whatever they want, they're there. They can dip a cup. They can dip a bigger cup. That's why we say mind reading. Everybody's mind reading is part of it. I didn't make that up. That's part of that's a Mystic City. But all I'm saying is that
you lost my train of thought. But all I'm saying
all
is
going in that direction.
whatever you
Whatever
want,
taking
it's
the
there.
right-
That's why we were saying the other day, like, you don't believe in God as form. That's okay. There's room for you at this table.
Right.
know,
Okay. Yeah. That's.
there's room for everybody in Vedic thought.
But just don't get upset when someone points at, hey, there's still more.
Yeah, there's other stuff too.
Right, yeah.
And it's not, and there's also a type of respect we have amongst people with other paths. That's part of the Vedic system, is we understand, hey, everyone's on a path, and people get what they need in this lifetime, and then they get some inspiration, and sometimes they hop on a different train. That's okay too.
Okay, Ravina. Thank you.
So continue.
Yeah. How's your mic? Can you switch over now?
Oh yeah.
Is it a big deal?
Let's see. I'm gonna see. My daughter run out my computer to nothing. Drop the whole show on me.
But it's not on her, Raghunath, because all you have to do is make sure that you're plugged in before the show. She can use it all
I
night.
told make sure my computer's plugged in.
Okay.
It didn't plug it in. It
All right.
died. Okay.
You sound better now.
Thank you.
But yeah, get a little closer to the mic. Are you right at the right volume?
I'm on
setting?
it.
Okay.
Actually, let me double check this here. Okay. Okay.
You ready for the next verse?
Yes, ready.
Text 63. There's some interesting stuff in the commentary we can read to this verse.
Okay.
Lord Shiva speaking.
Lord Shiva is speaking. My dear Lord, you are the only supreme person. Just in case you thought there were some others, you're the only supreme person, the cause of all causes. Something happened. There's a cause to why something happened. But why did that cause happen? And why did that cause happen? Krishna is the original cause of all causes. Before the creation of this material world, your material energy remains in a dormant condition. Interesting, huh?
Dormant.
In a dormant condition, sort of like a
batter.
Avocado seed. An avocado seed. It's dormant, or even like a plant, right? That goes dormant, Mara, like in the winter. There's like some plants, they just go dormant, and then all of a sudden they just come back to life.
I was thinking like a batter that hasn't been heated up yet.
Or like a batter.
Okay.
When your material energy is agitated, the three qualities, namely Rajas, Sattva, Tamas, goodness, passion,
What?
ignorance, act.
Raghu, we're getting some major lag.
And
Raghunath,
natural energy.
Raghu, do you hear me? You're lagging. You're lagging big time, Raghunath. All right, I'm going to try to read this verse. Can you hear me, Raghunath? You got me?
I can hear you, Kasub.
Yeah, let me read the verse, and let's see if Raghunath can unlag himself somehow. So here's the verse. It says, "My dear Lord, maybe his computer's not plugged into the right. He's not connected to the right network. Yeah, check your network, Raghu. Maybe you can write him that note, Mayor.
Sure.
Okay, so here's the verse again. My dear Lord, you are the only supreme person, the cause of all causes. Before the creation of this material world, your material energy remains in a dormant condition." Okay, we got to maybe you should mute him until we got him back fully. Okay, my dear Lord, you are the only supreme person, the cause of all causes. Before the creation of this material world, your material energy remains in a dormant condition. All the ingredients are there, like in a batter, but it hasn't been cooked yet and taken its shape. When your material energy is agitated, the three qualities, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance, act. And as a result, the total material energy, egotism, ether, air, fire, water, earth, and all the various demigods and saintly persons become manifest. Thus, the material world is created. All right, we try to get Raghu back. Raghu? Okay.
Still very choppy.
He's really having a hard time today.
Yes.
So let's just mute him for now, and you can check in on him there and see if he's back, or if there's any change. So I wanted to read this excerpt from this commentary. I really wish I had Raghunath here to discuss it. Let's see if we can get him. Come on, Raghunath. Raghunath, do you hear me? Asked to
He's
unmute.
gone.
He's gone again. All right. One of those days, you know. Upstate living is tough, you know.
Yeah, it is. Middle of
Okay,
the-
so here I'm going to discuss this with you, Mary. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So here's part of what Prabhupada said in relation to this verse. He says, there is only a material world for those who want to imitate the Lord and become enjoyers. Interesting, right? In other words, some of us have decided, I want to imitate. I want to be the center. You know, it's the opposite of the flip-flop. Indeed, the material world is nothing but forgetfulness of the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, the creator of everything. That's what this world is built on. It's built on forgetfulness. It's designed for us to engage in forgetfulness. The distinction between matter and spirit is created by the sleeping energy of the Lord when the Lord wants to give some facility to the living entities who want to imitate the Lord in his enjoyment. This is the keys to the universe here. It is only for them that this material world is created by the dormant energy of the Lord. For instance, sometimes children want to imitate. Here's the example. We often say like this. For instance, sometimes children want to imitate the mother and cook in the kitchen. Did you want to do that when you were a little girl, Mara?
I don't remember, but
Did
probably.
you watch? Did you know you want a little easy bake oven?
I never had one of those. I always
Okay.
wanted one though.
See, that's the whole thing, right? You can't work a real oven, but you can get a facsimile of an oven and feel like you're cooking. But I think with the easy bake oven, you actually did kind of cook.
Yeah,
right?
I think you could make like a cake in there or something.
Yeah. For instance, sometimes children want to imitate the mother and cook in the kitchen. And at such a time, the mother supplies them with some toys so that the children can imitate her cooking. Now think about this and think about, am I just a child playing with a toy? You know, is that what I am? Is that what this world is? Is this world in my occupation, in my possessions, in my sexual relationships, and my this and my that, and all of this? Is it just an imitation? Is it just a toy? Is it all an illusory facsimile that I'm just playing with and trying to find some satisfaction out of? All right. So Prabhupada says, for instance, sometimes children want to imitate their mother and cook in the kitchen. And at such times, the mother supplies them with some toys so that the children can imitate her cooking. Similarly, when some of the living entities want to imitate the activities of the Lord, this material cosmic manifestation is created for them by the Lord. The material creation is therefore caused by the Lord through his material energy. And it is by the glance of the Lord that the material energy is activated. This kind of thing is described in Bhagavatam. It's described in books like Brahma Samhita, that Lord Vishnu simply glances, that it's like the ingredients are there in their dormant state. And just like we add like yeast, or we add heat to like a dough to make it expand or to begin to take shape. So by the glance of Vishnu, the material energy is activated.
I think Raghu is back with us.
Oh, let's see. If we got him back.
Greetings,
There he
friends.
is.
Just popping
Raghunath,
in to
what
say
is-
hi.
What is going on today?
You know, you know what happened yesterday?
What
I looked at
happened?
the moon. I
Oh,
tried not to. The moon was breathtaking. I looked up and I was like, oh my God, you're not supposed to look at the moon today because of the curse of Ganesh.
It's that, and I think also the fact that you didn't plug in your computer. That was part
Could
of
be
it
that.
too.
Could be that. Could be the curse of the moon. Could be. I didn't.
All right.
And
were
you know
on the
what? I
wrong
was
network?
driving home and I could not take my eyes off the moon. I was like, I'm not going to look. I'm not. And it was massive and it was crescent shaped and it was yellow. Did anybody see the moon last night?
Yeah, I did too, and I had the
Then
same
you're
thing.
cursed.
I
Then
was
you were
driving to
cursed.
pick up Bunky, and I was like, it was like right on the horizon.
was
Like I
right- you
could not
couldn't-
look at it.
You couldn't see. This is what happens when you live upstate. You just can't stop noticing the moon. And it was a quite breathtaking moon.
Must have been. It must have
So
been.
anyway, I got that working against me today.
Okay. Now, Raghunath, we're reading some really interesting stuff here. I feel like going back because it's just so good.
I apologize. Man. Everything's falling apart, and
it's
and
okay.
and it shut down all my tabs.
Okay, well,
Where-
just hear me
where
out.
are
Hear
we?
me out. I'm reading from the commentary to text 63. And Prabhupada, he starts with this original point, this first point. He's saying that the material world is nothing but forgetfulness of the original Supreme Person, right? He says,
I believe that.
He says there is only a material world for those who want to imitate the Lord and become enjoyers. And again, it doesn't mean that we are, that enjoyer could be with a capital E, like the quote unquote, the enjoyer, right?
Right.
We're all by nature, we enjoy. We're Purusha, we're enjoyers by nature. But it's saying that supreme is you could say the Mahapurusha or the
So we are
Adi
Purushas.
Purusha, the original. We are enjoyers.
We are enjoyers. It's not bad to enjoy. We're not shaming your good time. This isn't about poo-pooing on your party. We are all meant to enjoy, but there is one supreme enjoyer that we are also, the Mahapurusha and the Purusha. So we even have the name, the enjoyer, right? Like we're even called Purusha.
We're called
and
Purusha.
the material elements are Prakriti, but there is the Mahapurusha and where we are Prakriti.
Yeah, that's right. And or in one sense, we're always Purusha, but there's that Purushottama, the ultimate person, or the Adi Purusha, the original person, or the original enjoyer. Purushottama, the ultimate enjoyer, or we could just say the enjoyer, right? Because it's through that root. When that root enjoys, we all enjoy for real. So he says that there is only a material world for those who want to imitate the Lord and become the capital E enjoyer, the enjoyer. Indeed, the material world is nothing but forgetfulness of the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, the creator of everything. The distinction between matter and spirit is created by the sleeping energy of the Lord, when the Lord wants to give some facility to those living entities who want to imitate the Lord in his enjoyment. When it says the sleeping energy, that means it's like saying we're living in a dream, right? This material world is something like a dream. It's a dream where we've forgotten reality, that connection with that original being, and we're in a dream-like sleeping state trying to enjoy something. Okay, he goes on. It is only for them that this material world is created by the dormant energy of the Lord. And then he gives this example, Raghunath. You ready?
Yep.
For instance, sometimes children want to imitate their mother and cook in the kitchen, and at such time the mother supplies them with some toys so that the children can imitate her cooking.
My kids had a little stove.
Was it a real stove or was it a
No,
fake
it was a
stove?
child stove.
Okay. Well, I mean, because we were just saying the Easy Bake Oven actually was an oven. Like you could cook.
Yeah, well, it was more like a toaster. Did you have one of those?
Okay, fair enough. But it was an oven.
Did you have an Easy Bake Oven? Is that
No,
what
we
started you on your career?
I always wanted one when I was little.
We were going there. Okay,
Holly Hobby. It was the Holly Hobby.
Yeah. So this is important, right? The idea that I was saying, Raghunath, this Prabhupada using this analogy, it's saying like the child can't actually cook, but the child wants to cook to fulfill the desire of the child. The mother provides a toy oven, and the child pretends that they're cooking and tries to taste what the feeling is like to cook. Now,
that's a good analogy, huh?
Such a good analogy. But what's that analogy calling on us to contemplate is my life, is my entire life.
My entire existence is concocted in my mind of being the supreme enjoyer.
Is it all like
type
that?
Of thing.
Pretending. Am I just pretending?
It's this type of thing, Kostuba, like these very, very heavy real truths that shatter my illusions, that I was like, this makes more sense than anything. I've been trying to be the enjoyer, and it really the most enjoyable thing in the world. Even when I was at a really enjoyable place recently. I can't remember where I was. Somewhere in my travels, I was like, this is perfect, and it's temporary.
Yeah.
You know, and even when I was with Gopal when he was leaving his body, I was like, Gopal, you feel some pain right now? Your pain is temporary. It's the greatest happiness we have in the material world and the greatest pain we're suffering in the material world is just temporary. They're both temporary, like in a moment. And therefore, to think myself the greatest enjoyer, having that knowledge, it like punctures that illusion of the romance of the material world. And when I hear that, oh yeah, that's right, because we're meant to serve the center, not be the center. Stop trying to find fleeting pleasure in this world. It rings so true that then I can extend. These people are saying this. They also say some other fantastic things, like about Ganapati, right? About other cosmos, about mystic cities. Therefore, that gives me a little. They say these things that make so much practical sense that when they say something that really doesn't make sense, it's reasonable to understand why are they.
It's not that it doesn't make sense, but it's beyond reason.
It's beyond reason.
It's not
but it's
unreasonable.
reasonable to
It's-
accept that. Why would they lie to us?
Yeah, it's what is it? We were a long time ago. Remember, we said it's not unreasonable, but it's what is it? Trans reasonable or something like that, right? It's like
Transrational.
thank you, Mara. Transrational, right? It's not irrational. It's transrational. You're with me, Margaret? Right?
Yes.
It's not
It's
irrational.
transrational.
Transrational. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Mara,
So,
good,
so
good
yes,
coming up
it's-
with that. You had that. Yeah. It was slipping.
Well, there's a lot of like these are like these heavy philosophical things that give you, and they're like, okay, I see this. I've been pretending this whole life.
But you know what? It requires that sincerity and that that ability for introspection to actually let me examine my life. And is it possible that my job, my occupation, that what I do in my free time, that even those things, in one sense, and this is challenging, right? Even those things that are like kind of like dearest to me, like my relationship, in one sense, am I playing? And I'm not saying that those all can't be used in reality, but am I living outside of reality in a dream state? And are all of these kind of pretending, and through these circumstances and relationships, am I pretending that I am the capital E enjoyer, that I'm the cosmic dancer, that I'm the cosmic player? Am I a cosmic player hater? And am I pretending that I'm the cosmic player?
Cosmic player hater.
We're cosmic player hater.
You know what the beautiful thing about the Bhagavatam? It's not going to do the work for you. You still have to
point
dig
the
deep.
direction. Yeah.
It is the tom-tom. Huh?
Tom?
Remember the tom-tom? Just for a brief moment in time, there was a GPS,
No.
the tom-tom. Come
No
on.
idea. No idea what it is.
The tom-tom. It's the GPS. It's the roadmap. It's the roadmap. But imagine being philosophically inclined without the tom-tom. Imagine being philosophically inclined without the roadmap. Then you get this one thing. Yeah, I'm the center of the universe. Then it flip-flops to, no, I'm part of something bigger. And it flip-flops to, it's all nothing. Imagine not having, that's how I lived. I felt like I was, I'm not a great philosopher, but even as a teenager, I just would ponder these things. And it would drive you crazy because there's no end, there's no guide, there's no roadmap, there's no tom-tom.
That's why you tried mushrooms that time?
Yes. You want to go there? You want to go there, Kasuba? Yes.
All right.
Yes.
That's why you tried mushrooms. Like, maybe there's an answer at these mushrooms. All right.
And thank God for the Bhagavatam.
Okay. So yeah, it's giving us this key. Let's continue. Okay.
But we got to do the work.
We got to do the work. So Prabhupada said, for instance, sometimes children want to imitate their mother. The mother provides the toys for them so the children can imitate the cooking. Similarly, when some of the living entities want to imitate the activities of the Lord, and really it's not just like but it's like the position, right? It's like the center, right?
Yeah. Just like lording it over your universe, even if your universe is like lowly. You know what I mean?
Even
some people have
pauper is proud of their penny.
The pauper's proud of their penny.
That's what we are. We're a bunch of paupers proud of our pennies.
I have some position to be in charge, and I take full advantage of that. And how dare anybody, right? And it could be a lowly position of being in charge.
You start to lord it over anyone that you can in that lowly position.
Yeah.
We've all seen that.
Or you're in a big position. There you have this word, wait, this. A despot. A despot. Imagine if you're a despot. You know what a despot is?
Like one of these tyrants?
Yes. Or check this out. Sanskrit glossary goodie. Hear me out. Did I tell you this already?
No.
They told me.
But I got a feeling it's not going to be as great as you're building it up right now.
It is.
Okay.
Despot. It's a Sanskrit word.
All right.
A despot. What? Okay, you tell me.
What word does it come from?
Put. Where do you hear put?
Put. Does it mean? Does it
put? Just put. Despot. Put.
Does put mean like a direction or something like that?
No. Like gonna put or putney.
Putty, like husband.
Putney. I mean, it's so putney or gunna putty. He's like the master of the master of the gunnas, right?
Okay.
So that's all right. So that's like the master, and deis is like
place. The place.
So he's that master of the place. That's where you get the word despot.
Nice,
that cool?
That was incredibly satisfying to hear. Nice, nice. Okay, so where were we? What was I saying? What were you saying? I don't remember anything now. Similarly, when the living entities, we're saying it's not just the play, but in one sense, we're trying to take that position. So similarly, when some living entities want to imitate the activities of the Lord, the material cosmic manifestation is created for them by the Lord. The material creation is therefore caused by the Lord through his material energy. It is by the glance of the Lord that the material energy is activated. And at that time, the three material qualities are set into motion. And the material energy is manifested first in the form of Matattva, then egoism, then ether, then air, fire, water, earth. It's giving, anyway, Bhagavatam's going into so much detail about this creation, but it's got this incredible theology, this incredible philosophy behind it that gives it all purpose and meaning that makes a whole lot of sense. I think we're out of time, Raghunath.
Oh, man. I was having a good day. I was having a good show today, despite my spotty nature.
Okay. Well, Mara, you got some takeaways?
Mara, give us some goodies for today that we can take away with us. Give us some takeaway goodies.
I have some good ones today.
Good takeaways.
Good
goodies.
takeaways.
You got some good goodies.
The key is selflessness.
The key is selflessness.
The key is selflessness.
Love is our character and identity.
And our name.
Love is our
And your
name.
Love Save.
It's my religion.
Love is my religion. That's like an Instagram post right there. Love is my religion.
I think it's been many Instagram posts.
Okay.
Save the big L love for God.
Save the big L love for God. Come on.
Like Laverne and Shirley, she had that big L, right?
Oh, Kostuba.
She had it on all her shirts.
Schlemiel. Schlemazel. Go. Okay, let's go.
Move with the cosmic dance.
That's right.
Real romance is holding hands and walking toward divinity.
Oh, Kostuba.
That's a Kostuba.
That is
right
a
there.
Hallmark. You should sell that to Hallmark, Kostuba.
I'm going to try.
Kostuba does.
Our greatest pleasure and pain are temporary.
True.
They really are. The material pleasure and pain.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's why, more than one person has said to me in the midst of like going through like some incredible pain and cancer that like the only thing that was saving them, they could hear the holy name. Someone was chanting to them or singing to them or playing kirtan. They felt great relief within that pain. They can like separate themselves from the pain and just be there, understand that the pain is something else. I don't know if that was a squirrel, but
thank you, Raghunath.
thank you.
Okay.
Am I just a child playing with a toy imitation?
Am I?
Yes, you are. The toy microphone, Mara. We wouldn't give you the real one.
We're not the center. It's a big flip flop.
It's the big flip flop.
Yeah.
Flip it.
And we have an inner cosmic player hater.
How about Tom Tom? Tom Tom never came into any of this.
I don't even know what a Tom Tom is. I don't know what you're talking about.
The GPS thing, right?
It was there for a year, and then everyone got an iPhone, and they just ran them out of business. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. If you think my Tom Tom should have been a takeaway today, please put it up on the board.
Nobody's that into it right now.
No one's that into it. My idea was the Bhagavatam is the director. How about this one, Mara? Hashtag, you got to do the work. How about that one? That was a good one.
Good with a big flip flop. Just be satisfied with that.
The big flip. Look at Samantha Burrier's kid, Professor Snooky. Snooky Jr., do that dance. He is
Professor
fully
Snooky,
invested in this. Hey, I'm a little angry at the Zoom committee here because no one went to Apple Podcasts because I checked yesterday and they didn't write a review. Here, I'm looking at everybody here and I'm looking
want
for
10
names.
today.
I'm looking for names. I see your names. I'm writing them all down. If you don't write a review, you're in big trouble. You're going to be X'd from the Zoom crew. Go to Apple Podcasts and write us a 5-star review today. Tell some story, how you got here, what your thing is, where your spiritual life, etc. Good to see Nate here. Good morning, Nate.